Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 360 Chat. Well, I'm saying welcome back to another episode. Welcome back to a new season, first of all. How can I forget? But yeah, we're on a new season of 360 now. We're on season 4, and which is actually kind of crazy. Like when you think about it, like we're actually in season 4 right now. And people will be like, yeah, but your podcast is only like 10 episodes per season, but that's besides the point. Anyway, we're on season 4. This episode, yeah, let me actually just give a bit of background before I actually jump into the episode, because you lot know last season was very much based on faith, yeah. And obviously that's never going to change. Like, I'm a Christian. It's not a personality. Like, that's just is me. That's me. I'm a Christian. That's me. But that's not to say that like other people from other religions or people that don't even have a religion can't watch it, which is why like this season is not going to be as heavily based on faith as like the last season. But this episode, however, will be, because I just feel like what I'm saying, to be honest, what I'm saying isn't necessarily faith based. There are some things that have to do with faith, but it's not necessarily like all gonna be about it. I feel like anyone would be able to relate to this episode, and I feel like there's a reason why it was placed in my heart. Normally, with my episodes, I don't really like do them as impromptu, like, but this episode really just came on me, and I was like, I have to share this around, because I feel like people will be touched, not touched, but I feel like a lot of people will be able to relate and understand to the episode today. So that's what we're gonna do. But guys, this episode today is about creating your own norm. I feel like God is telling me now, like, you need to do this episode by yourself, because only you will know how to portray this message that I believe God is trying to let me share to the masses. So, creating your own norm. Let's get into it. We have to get into it. Yeah. So first of all, in our society, in our generation, I feel like there are so many things that are deemed as normal, but they're actually not normal. And one thing I always used to say to people when they used to come to me, ask me for advice and stuff like that, the first thing I always tell them is that just because something is normalized doesn't make it right or doesn't make it normal. So in that way, someone literally just said, yeah, this is how we're going to do things, or this is how things are meant to be, and all of you are going to have to follow it, and somehow that's just become normalized. So I was even like thinking with my friend the other day, yeah, we were in the car, and it's actually so weird because this was even after I got the idea to do this episode. But anyway, she was like, how come when you're driving, like, who came up with the rule that when you're at a roundabout, you have to look to your right to give way, basically? So whoever's on your right, you have to give way to them. So, like, who even came up with the idea to do that? Like, one person just said it and we all just ran with it, type thing. And obviously, that person, congrats to you, the system works. Someone just came up with this one idea and we all ran with it. In the same way, with how I believe our society is going, how I believe our culture is going, I feel like there are so many things that may not necessarily be right, and we just think that it's right because it's normal. Do you get what I mean? This is why I tell people, and this is why the main topic of this, I guess, conversation, because it's a conversation, is to create your own norms. Create your own norms. Like, who's to say we can't make something up? Or who's to say we can't do things in a certain way because it doesn't fit with what society is telling us to do? Think of all these business ideas, or think of all these creators on any streaming platform, on any social media. They've all done something that is outside of the norm, and look at where they are now. People that make music outside the norm, look at where they are now. So create your own norm, because it's your life at the end of the day. You don't have to follow people to, I guess, be accepted. Accept yourself first. Know that God accepts you. And if someone doesn't accept you, it means that they're not meant for you. If a certain community doesn't accept you, it means that they're not meant for you. Do what is meant for you. Do you know what I mean? And the reason why I say that this episode is kind of faith based is mainly because of the fact that I believe that we all need to go back to the original source, which is the creator himself. You have to go back to the original source and just see what is right. See what is right and stick with it. Do you know what I mean? Let me go into this, yeah, because this is something that may trigger people, and this is something that I don't really speak about on my podcast because I just believe it's a bit controversial. Okay, so we're gonna start with this whole idea of being a provider. Yeah, I don't like speaking about this because first of all, I'm actually quite young, so I'm like, what am I even speaking about this for? I feel like this is a conversation for the grown folk, but in my understanding of being a provider, yeah, for a, well, let's start with society's understanding of being a provider. Society's understanding of being a provider is someone that I guess pays all the bills, yeah, pays for all, as a woman, yeah, pays for all your necessities, well, all your maintenance, buys the house, does all this, and basically all material things, yeah. And when I was thinking, I was actually thinking to myself, I was just like, what does it actually mean to be a provider? Because I was praying a prayer point and it was like, God provide, basically. Yeah. So if we are, I guess, quote unquote, made in the image of God, and God is the ultimate provider. God provides us with so many things. Yes, He provides us with the things that we may want, such as a job, such as a car, such as opportunities and stuff like that. Say God does all of that. He provides for us in that sense. But then at the same time, God also provides us with peace. He provides us with love. He provides us with happiness. He provides us with kindness. He provides us with things that are not material. He provides us with things that transcends time. So your car will run out of time. Your house, you'll have to redo that. Your maintenance is maintenance. You're gonna have to be changing that up every 2 weeks. Whereas the things that God actually provides us with, that transcends all of that. And in my understanding, if we want a man, yeah, women, I'm speaking to you, if we want a man who is a provider and you want a man who is also of God, make sure that what he is doing matches with how God provides for you as well. So if he's providing you with all these material things, okay, cool. He may be a material provider, but if he is now providing you with things that God also gives you, wouldn't you want that kind of provider instead of the other one? I mean, sure, you can have both. No one's saying you can't have the rest of both worlds. You definitely can. But I just feel like, again, going back to the original source, which is the Bible, God, the word. That's the original source for me. So when I'm looking now at, okay, cool, how do I want my future husband to be? That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm gonna be looking at. And this is why I say, if you're not gonna create your own norm, go back to the original norm. Because don't let society come and swindle you. Yeah? Don't let society come and swindle you and make you think that what you're doing is wrong, or what you want is wrong, or what you believe in is wrong. What you believe in is what you believe in. Some people, what you believe in is not right, but that's just like by law, first of all, by natural law, yeah, by eternal law, it's just not right. That's the only reason why I say it's not right. But again, what you believe is what you believe. So that's just one thing, because I just think that the things that we just see in society now is just like, no one can convince me that a lot of it is normal just because it's been normalized. And in the same way, again, going back to God again, think of it this way, yeah. God is the creator. Again, this is again going back to the original source. Guys, I'm being passionate about this here because I'm like, I just don't understand why people can't grasp that you can generally do your own thing. Do your own thing. Like, even this podcast, yeah, people can be like to me. You need to come across a certain way in order to, I guess, go further in this whole podcasting thing. You need to be more outgoing, you need to be more bubbly, you need to be more this. And I'm just like, that's just not my nature when it comes to this pod. Outside this pod, yeah, but I feel like with the way this pod is, Who it's for is who it's for. And I'm not going to conform to the normal or the norms of how a podcast should run. In the same way, when everyone was speaking about the whole who should pay on the first date thing, I've never and I will never. I don't think I've spoken about it yet. You guys can go back and listen, but I don't think I've spoken about it yet because I'm just like, why? Like, why? Why? But anyway, I am digressing. Going back to the original source, God is the ultimate creator, yeah? He created you to create. So why are you not creating? Why are you not creating? Why are you not creating your own norm? Why are you not creating what you want to create? There's a reason why you're here, and there's a reason why God made us so that we could create. God didn't make us to follow society. The first Christians, yeah, did they follow the societal norms back then? No, because they knew, like, okay, cool, we need to create our own norm. They didn't conform to what everyone else was saying, and look at them now. Well, look at us now, essentially. You need to do what is right for you, and if something doesn't feel right in your gut or your spirit or whatever you want to call it, then don't force yourself to do it. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like, especially when it comes to friendships, especially when it comes to relationships, stuff like that, sometimes you can't look at other people's situation. Sometimes you can't look at what people on social media are saying, because number one, social media is not real, and number two, your situation is your situation. Your friendship is your friendships, your relationship is your relationship, your marriage is your marriage, your parents are your parents. So everything needs to be applied to you. Like, whatever you're going through or whatever you're dealing with or whatever you want to do, you need to remember that is your situation and it's not anyone else's situation. No one else can really put themselves in the headspace for you, and not every situation outside, aka society, or outside just in general, will fit your situation. So you can't force it to, if that makes sense. You need to create your own way of dealing with it, because if you don't, then what's gonna happen? Like, what's gonna happen? Because now you're just gonna be applying everything that you see on social media to your situation, and that just doesn't make sense because it's your situation, and it's just gonna keep having the same outcome. Hence why I say, just because something is normal doesn't mean that it's normalized, doesn't mean that it's good, because some of these things, or most of the things that we see online, there's always a bad outcome. So why not create your own good outcome, please? This one, yeah, is low-key going out to the people that want to pursue something, but because people have said that it may be weird, or because people have said that it may be cringe, or people have laughed, or people have said that's just like no, like, doesn't make any sense. This one is for you personally, yeah, because this also applies to me, and this is the reason why I'm even sitting here today, is because I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna let people that I don't even know, or people that I do know that have no idea how big my dreams are, to get in the way of my big dreams. Do you get what I mean? So this one is for you lot. You are the constructor of your own life. Yeah. You come and you go alone. These people that you're looking at, or these people that you may fear, may perceive you in a different way, they are not going anywhere with you. They're not going anywhere with you. They didn't come into the world with you. Even when you're a twin, you come into this world alone. One comes and then another one comes after. You come into this world alone and you leave alone. No one has control over your life in the way that you do. When I say you are the creative director of your life, I genuinely mean it. And if people don't understand that, they are not for you. Align yourself with people that are happy that you are in alignment with yourself. Don't align yourself with people that do not want to understand where you're going. Am I making sense? Because I feel like this is something that I'm even learning. People don't like you when you're aligning with who you're becoming, with who you're meant to be. So if that's the case, then drop it. Drop them and leave it. Because again, just because your idea may be perceived as something weird doesn't mean that it's not good. Just because something is perceived as outside the norm doesn't mean that it's something good. That is not something good, rather. So just forget what people are telling you, forget what people may be saying to you, forget what people may be laughing at, like, because I guarantee, do you know what it is? And do you know what I believe that is? Yeah, I believe that people are upset with people who are confident in themselves because they are not able to be confident in themselves. So they start projecting and they're like, you know what, this is weird. Like, only because they don't have the self confidence to do that. So that's quote unquote how the norms even happen, because it's like someone is, well, a group of people are afraid to do a certain thing, so everyone just shuts it out. And so the norm is to do things in a certain way so that everyone can feel comfortable. But this is why when someone steps out of the norm, everyone is uncomfortable because it's like, this person, like, brother, like, this person's not in order. Do you get what I mean? So, bro, sometimes step out of order. If you have you not watched what's this film now? Have you watched Divergent? Yeah, when literally all of them, like, well, all of the people that weren't that are divergent, they were all in an order. And who is it? Four, and I forgot her name. What's her name? Beatrice, Tris. So Four and Tris, they were not normal, quote unquote. But realistically, they were normal because no one can be conformed to one box like the rest of the people were. You guys should go and watch the film. You know how, like, you know what I'm talking about. But no one realistically is like gonna be put in one box. But I feel like that's what society wants you to do. Society wants you to be put in a box. But when you see Tris and when you see Four, they're out of the box, and it's weird for everyone to the point where they're hunted to be killed type thing. So yeah, just because, like, people want you to be put in a box, don't let yourself be put in don't allow yourself to be put in that box. Don't let yourself be conformed to that box. Like, you have the power to get out. And realistically, just because they put you there, it doesn't mean that you're actually there. Do you know what I mean? Someone can just put me solely in this podcast box, but really and truly, that's not who that's just I'm more than that. I have photography, I have lashes, I have a law degree. I have so many boxes that I can jump from if I want to. And you can have so many boxes that you want to jump from. Don't let anybody just say, oh, yeah, because you did this, that's all you're doing. Or because you did that, that's all you're doing. Like, don't let people tell you can't do more than one thing, because you can do so much more. This is even another thing, yeah. And if you're a teacher, or if you're a professional, or if you're a future employer, just skip past this. Because even with work, even with school, me and Anna, you guys remember Anna from last season? I believe it was last season, yeah. Anna and I were speaking, and we were like, you know what? 9 to 5 just doesn't make sense. And what school has done is school has built us up to be ready for the 9 to 5 world. So uniform, you have to look smart. There's certain hairstyles you can and can't do. You can't have nails. You come and leave at a certain time. Deadlines. When you're on, what's it called? When you have assignments and you miss your assignments, there'll be punishment. You have to respect the elders. You have to respect the senior staff. And even in the same way, like, as a black person, it's definitely builds you up. If you have color in your hair as a black girl in school, you better take that out or you're gonna get in trouble. But what I'm realizing now is that really the way to live? When you go to the office and you're there from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, in my head you only get one day off because it's mainly only Saturday. But because Sunday is kind of like Monday, and for us that go to church, there's church on Sunday. So realistically, the only day you have off is Saturday. Then on top of that, out of the whole year, out of the whole 365 days of the year, you're only allowed 28 days off. You're only allowed 28 days off. And you can't, what? You're only allowed 28 days off. I have to ask permission for, like, just no. And this is why we have business owners that want to create their own norm. They want to create their own norm. And by all means, please do it. Like, I will never ever stop anyone from opening a business or from starting a business. If you want to start a business, I'll support you wholeheartedly because I genuinely understand. I understand running a business, I believe, is much more harder than working a 9 to 5 because you're literally in control of everything. Realistically, you get no days off because if you don't work, you don't get paid. But at the same time, it's kind of like when you do reach that stage where you're able to delegate and you're able to leave the task to other people, you're living life. You can take 28 days off in in one holiday if you want. Create your own norm. Even when it comes to businesses, I understand us girls, me too, I'm a lash tech as well, but going outside of that, going into other things. Love it when girls become barbers, because it's kind of like that's not really a normal for girls to be barbers. You know what I mean? Everything is in your own hands. Like your life is literally in your hands and God's hands. Even in the same way as I said, like with business owners, starting a business. In the same way, like going back to what I was saying about people may laugh at you for a certain thing or laugh at you for wanting to pursue something else. Let's look at YouTubers. Yeah, and this is where I have to kind of even low key sit back, because look at YouTubers. There was a point in time when YouTubers literally were called all types of names, and people are looking at them like, why are you uploading on YouTube? Not everyone wants to be a YouTuber. Everyone actually wants to be a YouTuber. And I remember when I first went on YouTube and first uploaded my first YouTube video, it was like almost 10 years ago. And I was scared to continue because I was like, what are people gonna think of me? Until this day, guys, I kid you not, like I honestly kid you not, on everything, it still haunts me till now that I didn't stay consistent when I first wanted to do YouTube, because every month, at least twice a month, someone comes to me and they say, imagine if you continued with YouTube, do you know how far you would be? Or imagine if you did this, do you know how far you would be? And I'm like, yes, I understand. Like, I did continue because I was scared of what people think of me. I was scared how my friends will portray me. I was scared how like it would affect my life. Like I was just scared of that, and I didn't want to step outside the norm, which is why I'm so passionate about it now, which is why I'm actually consistent with 360 despite what people are saying about, oh, take the podcast mic away from people, because it's kind of like there's no way I'm gonna allow people to mess with what I want for myself. There's just no way in heaven or hell that I'm doing that. There's just no way. I am going to do what I'm doing, and if you don't like it, go away. If you like it, thank you, stay here. Just because people may not like something, it doesn't matter. It genuinely doesn't matter, because all of you lot saying take the podcast mic away from these people, and I know it's mainly to men, but it's kind of like they're still getting views, they're still living the life that they want to live. So who are we to say take the mic away? Like, is what like it genuinely is what it is. You weren't gonna say take the camera away from KSI. I'd look at him now; he's a millionaire. Do you know what I mean? So even KSI, people used to call him all types of names, and they still do. But I bet KSI is laughing in the corner because he's stinking rich from the things that you lot have laughed at him for. Literally do what you want to do. Like, literally do what you want to do. Whatever feels right for you, do it. And if that thing didn't end up being right for you, try something else. Like, and try something outside the box. Which is why, like, with 360, it's not just one thing. Like, as you can see, we have different seasons, and even the seasons thing. Like every time I tell people, like, yeah, my podcast has seasons, they was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, like, do people not have seasons? Like, that's my new norm that I've created, and I didn't deep it until like I watched a couple podcasts that I normally watch. I'm like, oh, it's literally just consecutive episodes, like episode 235, where it's like we have seasons. Do you know what I mean? Create your own norm, even in the same way with my themes of my seasons. Well, it was just last season, to be honest, with faith, purpose, and culture. From the things that I was speaking about in season 1 and 2 to having a season based purely on faith, purpose, and our culture is a shock, is a mad shock to the system. Like, is not something that people normally do, and no one will ever make me change the way I do 360. No one will ever make me change the way like I do certain things unless I know I need to change it. Do you know what I mean? But when it comes to the nature of this pod, I'm not changing it for nobody. I can take in suggestions, but the suggestions are generic and I don't believe it fits in with the nature of what we're trying to do. I'm just not going to do it. I believe that 360 will grow in the way it needs to grow based on God's timing, and it will be for the people that it's for. That's how you have to think of things. Like, I like, I don't think you'll understand. I created this. I created it. The name, everything, the ideas, I created it. I'm the creator of it. I'm the creative of this. So no one will ever take that away from me. And that's the mindset you lot need to have of your own stuff. That's the mindset you need to have of your own lives, because that's your life. God created your life and God created you so you can create. Create within your life. And no one should be able to take that from you. No one should be able to change your mind with what you want to do. No one should be able to swindle you with what you want to do. Don't let people keep you in their pocket and keep you in a place where you're not meant to be. Remove yourself from that pocket and my friend, fly, please, just fly, because no one, there's no time to shake time. Like, especially as someone in their 20s, this is the time for you to be figuring stuff out. This is the time for you to be saying, yeah, I'm going to try so many things. Which is why when people ask me like, what do you want to do, I'm kind of like, I don't know. And when people tell me like, oh, what, how can you not know, I'm like, what do you want from me? I literally just spent 3 years of my life in uni. Before that, I spent 2 years of my life in college, 5 years or sixth form, 5 years of my life in second. I spent my whole life in school, and it wasn't until I got to uni that I realized that, wow, I really don't want to be conformed to this life that everyone has. I don't want to be. I've said it. I've said it from secondary school. I never really wanted to be in an office, but I didn't deep it until I got to sixth form, when I was like, I love this podcasting stuff. I love this presenting stuff. I love this radio stuff. I love music. I love just all things that involve me creating stuff. That's what was in my mind. That's what's still in my mind. Like, so when people tell me like, oh, why don't you just do law, or why don't you just do something else, I'm just like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm still figuring out like what I'm really good at, so that I can make a career out of it. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like people shouldn't pressure me into doing that. People shouldn't pressure you into doing that, especially if you just finish uni or you're in uni, or even if you're in sixth form. Like, no one should pressure you to do things or like make you figure out life. Some people are 40 and they still haven't figured out life. I understand not everyone will want to be 40 and not figure out life, but you literally change every single year. I'm changing every single day. So just do what is right for you and do what makes sense for you. And I don't know why I'm actually so passionate about this, but I think it's just because, like, honestly, the people that understand what they're here to do end up doing the best. Do you know what I mean? And I want the best for everyone. Like, that's one reason even why I created this podcast. It's kind of like, I want people to understand things in the way I see them, and hopefully it can have a positive impact on the way you see things as well. So that's just, I feel like that's literally my mission in life, to get people to understand their worth and get people to understand that they are made to do better and bigger things than what maybe your parents have told you or what your friends have told you. You're capable of so much. Have you not watched the film Lucy? I feel like I keep referring to films, but the film Lucy, yeah, bro, when she unlocked every single capacity in her mind, the things that she was capable of, the f- the things that she was capable of. She used mind telepathy. She used mind telepathy to come and bang up people, bro. That film Lucy is not a joke. Like, when she realized, okay, cool, like I can actually do this, bro, she was unlocking every capacity, 10%, 30%, 50%. She was unlocking it. And it's kind of like, when you unlock that capacity in your mind, you realize how much you're capable of. When you realize in your mind, okay, cool, I can actually do this, you're unstoppable. She was unstoppable. Go and watch the film Lucy. I don't think it's on Netflix anymore. But if you can, find the film Lucy, find the film Divergent, go and watch it. Thank you. But yeah, that's basically the message of today, because I feel like by now, if you lot don't get it, then that's your own. Because I don't actually know what else. I don't know what else I can literally tell you. Do you know what I mean? And I always say this when it's literally just me doing an episode, because when it's me, you know, it's something that's just gonna rattle your spirit. So, yeah, even with this, like, what I'm literally just saying, this podcast is not gonna end here. Like, just because it's not number one, just because it's not number two or whatever, doesn't mean that it's not for someone. There's a reason why this was created. If it helps one person, that's more than enough for me. So in that same way, don't silence yourself, don't silence your voice, don't silence who you're meant to be just because you're afraid of how people will perceive you. You're afraid to step outside the norm. My friend, create your own norm, please, and thank her. Please and thank you. Create your own box. If you want to be put in a box, I beg, create your own box. But don't be in a box that people want you to be in, or be in a box that people are making you be in. My friend, come and create your own box, please. Just don't shy away from your calling. Like, please, please, do not shy away from your calling, because you're called to do so much. Like, you're called to do so much. But yeah, this is where we're gonna have to end the ep, because I'm just gonna keep going on a tangent, and I don't think you'll want to hear me go on a tangent for an hour. So this has been season 4, first episode of season 4 of 360 Chat. So with that being said, yeah, with the way I guess I'm ending this, I'm gonna be telling you guys how season 4 is basically gonna run. So all in all, it's kind of gonna be a merge of all 3 of the previous seasons. So like I said, we're not gonna be based solely on faith this season. It's not gonna be based solely on faith like it was last season. However, we're still going to be speaking about it, because this is not a Christian podcast, but it's a podcast run by Christians. So it's always going to be that. I know that makes you uncomfortable. Go away. But yeah, in the same way, the things that we spoke about in season 1, in season 2, will also it will kind of be similar in a way. But as always, this podcast is a podcast to make you laugh, to make you deep life, and just to have a good time. Do you know what I mean? So there's always going to be a mixture of that, and I feel like that's a special thing about it, because if there's not one, there's always going to be an episode catered to someone. There's always going to be an episode created to someone. So what's the word? Created for someone. Yeah. Before, it was an upload. I tried to upload every week, and I feel like because I was trying to upload every week, that's what led to me being inconsistent. So this season will be bi-weekly. Is it bi-weekly? Yeah, bi-weekly episode. So every 2 weeks, because that just makes more sense for me. And again, I'm not sure how many episodes will be in this season, because I literally just go off vibes when it comes to how many episodes I want to do. But there is quite a demand for the amount of guests that want to be coming on this season, so we could have more than 10, we could have about 15, I don't know yet. I'm just hoping that you guys enjoy this season. We're gonna have some new things being introduced, because I low-key want to switch up the way I'm doing things, have it more be more engaging, like engage more with the guests, even though I literally speak one-on-one with the guests, but just have something different, and you guys will see it not the next episode, but maybe the episode after, because I forgot to incorporate it in the episode of Tiana. But yeah, you guys will see more things that you didn't see before in the previous seasons. Yeah, I really do hope you guys like this season. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope you guys have learned something. If you didn't, try and write something down, you know what I mean? Share it. If there's anything in particular that you're like, oh my god, like, yeah, feel free to message me on the 360 socials. So that's 360 Chat Podcast on every single platform. Thank you. Make sure you follow our TikTok. Make sure you follow the Instagram. I'm not really active on Twitter. Follow all of those things. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.